Welcome, it's a day to be a miner. This is the IceRiver AL0 and we're gonna liquidate it and we're gonna tell you why you should get rid of yours too. But first, let's spin that intro. So here we are, this is the IceRiver AL0, and of course we've done a complete setup video of this, and there's been many others that have set this up, and I was super excited about this thing when it was released. Ordered it on the drop date, paid $800 from IceRiver for this thing, plus 55 shipping, and took about a month to finally get it. Of course, they always ship it towards the end of the shipping window. And we fired this thing up. It's been running faithfully for about a month now. And we're going to liquidate this thing. We're going to get rid of it while the getting's good. And we're going to tell you exactly why we think you should do if you have one of these, and why you should avoid buying any of these new Alephium ASICs, and really be cautious on any of the new ASICs that are dropping out on the market today. It's been a real tidal wave, a real flood, but without further ado, let's dig into it. So yeah, this is the IceRiver AL0. This thing, the specs on it, it does 400 gigahash on only 100 watts, and it's in the classic same shell as the KS0 and the upcoming RX0. It's just the nice classic shell with the circuit chips on a single board, and the shell itself is the main heat sink for this thing. Runs on 100 watts, pretty fairly efficient. So let's talk about what this thing earns, how much it has earned me to date, what we think the future holds for this specific miner, and then we're going to talk about the market competition and some of the other items that are out there. So like I said, this thing has been running for about a month now. Picked it up from IceRiver 800 plus 55 shipping, so 855 two-door. Did not have to pay extra duties. If you bought the power supply, you may have got hit with the extra duties in the United States, because then you're over the $800 threshold, give or take. So that's something to keep in mind. So when we ordered this thing, it was making on hashrate.no, the hashrate 400 gigahash on the low wattage was making nearly $30 per day. This thing would have netted us if we would have got it that day in our hands right then. But that's not the way it goes in the ASIC world. That's not even close to the way it works in the ASIC world. The ASIC world, you ship them out, or you order them, they mine on them, they test them out for a month until the market starts fading, and then at the end of the shipping window, they ship it to your door, and by the time you get it, it's making significantly less. Currently, this is now making $1.02 profit per day after electricity. That's on the 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So it's more making about $1.20, $1.25 a day, probably about $1.25 a day before the charge for electric. And so after electric, $1.02 profit per day. So again, we've been running for a month. So how much have we earned so far in that month of running it? Today we have mined 49.65 Alephium on this guy, and that is equivalent to about $80 USD as of this day, of this time of recording. Of course, things fluctuate, go up and go down. So $80 have earned back worth of Alephium before the electricity. So we've made probably $60 of our $855 investment back in the first month. You're thinking, it's not good, but it's not terrible, because if you keep making that, eventually you're gonna ROI this thing in 2 years if everything would stay equal. That's the problem. That's the problem, and that's what we're gonna address. It's not going to stay equal. Here is why I am bailing on this device and most Alephium miners, and I feel like you probably should too. There is so much market competition on Alephium on the network now. When I purchased this thing, here's the hash rate. We'll take a peek at the chart on the screen. Here's the chart of the hash rate. Back in August 1st, the network hash rate was 2 petahash. 2 petahash. Now, as of October 1st, the network hash rate is 20 petahash. it has 10x'd. The network has 10x'd in only 2 months. That's a huge exponential climb. That is a bigger, quicker climb than the kaspa network did. And here's why. Here's why this is climbing significantly faster than the kaspa network did. When IceRiver dropped these out, and then there's some of their subsequent kaspa miners, they were the only dog in town for quite some time. That's not the case with Alephium. The IceRiver was not the first to the market. Goldshell already had the AL box out there, and the AL box was grossly priced. And if you bought it right on the first batch, maybe you get lucky in ROI that thing, but that's a tough sell too. So let's talk competition. The mini miners first. We'll start with just the mini miners so that we're in the same arena as this guy. So Goldshell had the AL box, and then of course they came out with the AL box 2, and just the other day they released the AL box 3. So what's the AL3, the AL box 3 have spec-wise? It's 1.25 terahash on 600 watts. And so that is doing 3 times the hash rate of this guy at a little bit less efficient, of course. Much less efficient, really, because 3 times the hash rate at 3 times, it doubled half the efficiency, give or take, of the stock version. But the AL box 3 does 1.25 terahash at the same cost as this guy. 800 bucks. You can get triple the hash rate. Yes, at 300 watts more, a lot less efficient, but triple the hash rate. That's a huge difference. Okay, so we're still in the mini miner sphere. So what other competition has been hitting? Well, IceRiver came out punching, basically putting a target on Goldshell's back, and they created their own mini miner too. They have now the AL2 Lite, which is essentially a Goldshell box miner. It even has dual with the Wi-Fi or the network connection. But what about it? What does it do? It does 2 terahashes on 500 watts. So it's maintaining a very similar efficiency as this guy, but of course it's at an added cost. So it's $1,300. So man, that is $1,300. I would have gladly paid $500 more to go clear up the 2 terahashes on 500 watts. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so that's probably all the mini miners, right? That's probably it. Well, now we're gonna go up to the mid miners, and now we've got bigger options. Like Goldshell itself has their server version. They've came out with a new line of, they're more like a server style case with the fans blowing out. It's called the E-AL1M, and it is a server style. It does 4.4 terahashes, so a huge amount of hash rate there. But again, bad efficiency and huge power, 1,800 watts. So now you've got a lot of hash rate pumping in, and we're only on the beginning in the mid-range. So let's just do one more mid-range. So there's the Dragonball A40, and it does 3.3 terahash on 1,600 watts. So it's right there in the same ballpark as the Goldshell EAL1M. They're about the same efficiency, and again, substantial price increases for both of these. And really, as you're pumping up that hash rate, you're pumping up that cost, and you're pumping up that power. So that's the ASIC world. All right, so let's just quit messing around. Let's quit messing around completely. Let's jump up to the huge world. Let's go right up to the top. How about the Bitmain? You've got the AL1 and the AL1 Pro. And those are the biggest problem with these home mini miners, in my opinion. These guys are doing around 16 terahashes on 3,500 watts. That's a massive amount of hash rate, and the efficiency is pretty good on those compared to some of these smaller things. So yeah, the market competition on the Alephium network in the ASIC realm is coming real hard and real painful right now. So let's dig into my entire thoughts on the ASIC market. Vosscoin has been really adamantly putting out content about this lately, about how he's getting all these different ASICs. He's paying a premium. I'm sure he's getting some free and some discounted because he's Vosk and they want his products in front of people's eyes. But he's still dropping a gross amount of money on a lot of these miners. And by the time he's getting them or getting them set up and running, or maybe even just running for a few weeks, they are dropping significantly in their value. And because the market competition keeps coming out, when something comes out bigger, better, faster, more efficient, then the old turns into a hefty paperweight. And that's where we're going with the ASIC market right now. Every time a new algorithm starts to push these ASICs out, everybody sees money signs. All these companies see money signs. They're throwing together these ASICs, slapping some chips in there. In these instances, they're almost using the same boards, the same configurations, and they're literally just changing the chips, changing the programming, making it so that it's hashing on the specific algorithm for that new coin. And yeah, who's getting crunched? Who's losing out? It's the home miners. It's the little guys. It's guys like us, me, you. It's the people that are not running the warehouses, the people that don't have the setup to run a number of 3,500 watt, $30,000 ASICs in their home, or even in their mining shed. The small miner that built a little mining shed that has still to pay 10 cents per kilowatt hour, 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Maybe you got reduced to 8 cents per kilowatt hour. You're still going to get squeezed, and you're going to get squeezed hard by a lot of these big boy ASICs and the big boy farms. And yeah, that's where we're at. Now, why am I selling? Why am I selling? Obviously, so my number one thought is this is a bad investment. I've made a bad investment. How can I fix my bad investment? You really have two options. Option number one, we mine it till the wheels fall off. We write it off as a loss. Anything we make going forward, we make. And who cares? It's 100 watts. You're not paying a lot per day to run it. Or even if you're running some of the middle size, you know, you could still go that route and you hope that someday you ROI. Maybe you hodl the coin and you hope for an increase. So what if you hodl and you think, okay, well, kaspa, as the hash rate kept growing exponential, kaspa network kept growing and the price appreciated along the way. It keeps going up. So what about Alephium? Has the price trend continued with that exponential hash rate growth? So back on August 1st, again, the hash rate was only 2 petahash. Alephium price was $1.89 per coin. So it had to increase, right? Hash rates went crazy, it had to increase. Well, no, the price is now $1.47. It has actually dropped by 42 cents since August and October. So now the value of each coin is way less. You're earning way less because of the hash rate, and you're probably never going to ROI this. So we've recognized now that this is a bad investment. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about this bad investment? So I started looking on eBay. Well, these things are still selling for near $750 US. Of course, that's free shipping, eBay fees. Maybe I get $650 back out of it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell this thing on eBay. We're gonna maybe list it locally, flip it on Facebook if you can. You get a lot more returns. Local sales get you a better margin. But yeah, there's still a market for these things for now. That market is gonna keep going down. People like me have realized, and if people start presenting it to you guys and going, hey, this is a bad investment, get rid of it, people are gonna start dumping these things, and this is gonna be like the KS0, and it's gonna be worth like $100 in like 2 months. So yeah, that's my stance. Again, it's not financial advice. This is just one man's opinion, going by strictly by the numbers and the data that I have observed, that I've put in front of me. So I hope that this has made you aware of the terrible part of the market and how bad the ASIC market is right now. What about you? What are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think it's crazy to sell this? Should I just eat the initial investment? Should I try to get out from under and get what I can, or should I just run it till the wheels fall off? Tell me what you're doing and what you think I should do with this down in the comments. So yeah, that about wraps it up. But wait, one last thing. Before we go, this is the IceRiver RX0, and it just walked in my door. Will this follow the same path as this? Half the price, but it's looking like a bad path really early on. So stay tuned for this guy. We're gonna do a setup video, unboxing, review. We're gonna tell you the profitability and all that fun stuff in a future video. If you're new to mining or you need some help, make sure to join the Misfit Mining Discord. There's always plenty of seasoned vets in there willing to help you out. And if you like the video, you know what to do. Smash that like button and subscribe for future content. Thanks for coming along and enjoy the ride.